Theranos began as a startup of almost mythical proportions and goals in 2003.
It's just an incredible morality tale.
A woman once hailed as a Silicon Valley visionary is facing federal fraud charges tonight.
Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes has now officially been indicted on federal wire fraud charges. The U.S. Attorney's Office accusing her.
Theranos was an idea born in a small lab at Stanford that became a company worth $9 billion. This company not only violated the ethical standards within the company, it also committed wire fraud worth millions of dollars. Theranos is the integration of the words therapy and diagnosis. Elizabeth Holmes and Shaunak Roy founded it while they were still attending Stanford. Shaunak only stayed with Theranos for 3 years and left when he realized that his vision of the company was vastly different from where it was going. While Shaunak handled more technical aspects of things, Elizabeth almost single-handedly rounded up the investments they needed for the startup. Her charismatic personality and the way she believed in her dream appealed to many investors. Her family, friends, and relatives also pitched in for the first round of investments. There was also a third essential character in this story, Ramesh Sunny Balwani. Elizabeth met Sunny while on a trip to Beijing with Stanford in 2002. Sunny would play a major role in Elizabeth's company as the COO in the future. Soon after they met, Elizabeth and Sunny got into a relationship and went to great lengths to conceal it from the board of directors, investors, and employees. However, their relationship ended when the company was under investigation. The company promised to revolutionize the blood testing industry, which would help advance the treatment of diseases. This blood test required very small amounts of blood and was stored in tiny cartridges called nanotainers. These nanotainers were then placed into a machine called Edison, which was designed to run thousands of blood tests off a single drop of blood.
As more and more people were fired or resigned, nepotism began to take hold. Holmes brought in her boyfriend Sunny Balwani as the COO of the company. He lacked a basic understanding of the technology and turned into a tyrant who valued secrecy and loyalty. Her brother Christian joined the company and brought 5 friends from Duke with him, and Elizabeth placed them above more qualified employees in the company hierarchy. Holmes and Balwani kept a thorough track on their employees by checking their social media accounts and surveying when everyone arrived and left. Balwani berated employees for only working 8-hour days and verbally harassed them when in rage. They also built dossiers on fired employees to use for leverage. Henry Moseley, the CFO, was promptly fired in 2016 when he questioned Holmes about the misleading statements she presented to the investors. He was denied his stock options due to a dossier that Holmes used as leverage. The workplace environment that Theranos had created was very toxic. It was designed to restrict employees from interacting with each other. Chat ports were blocked and prevented employees from exchanging texts with each other. The toxicity of their workspace got to many employees. While some resigned, others did not have that option. One of the more noticeable instances of this can be seen in the case of Ian Gibbons. Ian Gibbons was a respectable scientist who was brought on board by Elizabeth Holmes in 2005 as the company's chief scientist. He made major contributions towards the company's key patents. In early 2013, he was called upon to testify against Holmes in a patent misappropriation lawsuit. Both Holmes and Balwani put immense pressure on Gibbons to perjure. He fell into clinical depression and committed suicide. Theranos' board consisted of many notable figures from its rise to its fall. The initial board members included Shaunak Roy, Donald L. Lucas, Avi Tevanian, Channing Robertson, Sunny Balwani, George Schultz, Henry Kissinger, Sam Nunn, Gary Rohead, James Mattis, Riley Betchell, and Elizabeth Holmes herself. Theranos faced criticism for having a board where most were political and corporate figures instead of medical specialists. Henry Kissinger, Sam Nunn, Gary Rohead, and George Schultz all departed from the company following this incident. Sunny Balwani left the company in 2016 amid investigations into the company's technology. The board of directors that stayed with Elizabeth till the end are Daniel Warmenhoven, James Mattis, David Boyce, the lawyer who represented her during the patent misappropriation lawsuit, Richard Kovacic, Dr. Fabrizio Bonanni, who became the chief operating officer following Sunny's departure, and Elizabeth Holmes herself.
Theranos approached Walgreens in January 2010 with an email claiming that they had managed to develop a small device that could run any blood test with just a few drops of blood in real time and for less than half of the conventional costs. The CFO, Wade McKellen, invested $140 million. As time passed, Theranos did not provide any definitive proof of its claims, going as far as denying them for testing their own representative to ensure the results were accurate. While the employees of Walgreens had recognized the red flags, the CFO ignored them. Theranos had also changed its regulatory strategy by claiming their test to be lab-developed, which would entail not having to be regulated with the FDA or CMS. When the company went public in 2013, Walgreens brought Edison to its stores without ever testing the machines themselves. This negatively impacted many patients who trusted these machine results as accurate and made life-changing decisions. Walgreens terminated the contract when an article debunked the claims Theranos made and went on to sue them for $140 million for the breach of contract and settled at confidential terms. Another retail company Theranos approached around the same time was Safeway. The CEO at the time, Steve Bird, invited Elizabeth to present her ideas to the executives at Safeway, which led to them signing up a deal of $30 million. The company went on to invest nearly $400 million. The partnership had many delays and only got off ground in 2012 as a beta version before the launch. Theranos took over the blood testing in Safeway employee clinics in Pleasanton. However, it did not put the device within the clinic and instead only drew the blood. The tests were done using both the Edison and the conventional way. The test results took almost 2 weeks, and the tests done with Edison had major inaccuracies. The launch never took place after this, and once the expose was published in 2015, Safeway ended the partnership, suing Theranos and settling for less than $30 million. Theranos approached the Army through General Jim Mattis, an honorable figure in the U.S. Army and a board member. However, the officer in charge, Lieutenant David Shoemaker, sent them away when they failed to provide any accreditation from any health authorities.
John Carreyrou is an award-winning influential writer at Wall Street Journal when he received a tip about Theranos' deceptive technology. He pursued the story and talked with multiple key members. He then contacted Tyler Schultz, who worked at Theranos for 8 months and was the grandson of George Schultz, a member of the board. Tyler goes on to become a key whistleblower who plays a major role in uncovering the Theranos scandal. Once the article was published in the Wall Street Journal, Theranos only went downhill. The article resulted in Walgreens and Safeway terminating the contracts. It got FDA's attention, who later banned the use of nanotainers, which put an end to all the finger stick tests at Walgreens. CMS conducted a surprise inspection of the Theranos lab and found out that the blood testing was inaccurate and posed a threat to patient safety. So CMS revoked the lab's license to operate. The US regulators banned Elizabeth Holmes and Sunny Balwani from owning and running a medical lab for 2 years. Theranos may have defrauded investors and patients alike, but that hasn't deterred venture capitalists from pouring cash onto digital health solutions. There has been a steady increase in investments made in the digital health sphere, proving that investors still believe in the potential of blood-based diagnostic solutions. Theranos, in particular, has developed a portable diagnostic machine which leverages deep learning and machine vision to accurately measure the white blood cells count, which is essential in indicating various diseases from leukemia, infections, inflammations, and even cancer. However, Theranos has taken a more data-oriented approach while working with regulatory agencies to prove the efficacy of their machines, which made it distinct from the deceptive and secretive approach of Theranos. The scandal serves as a cautionary tale to all credulous investors to practice due diligence and realize the importance of peer reviewing and data analysis before making a meaningful investment.
Elizabeth Holmes and Ramesh Balwani were charged with 2 counts of conspiracy to commit wire fraud in violation of 18 U.S.C. Section 1349 and 9 counts of wire fraud in violation of 18 U.S.C. Section 1343 in 2018. However, the trials were delayed to 2021 due to the pandemic and Elizabeth's pregnancy. The indictment alleges Holmes and Balwani defrauded external stakeholders by making false claims and omitting important information. One such instance is of Pfizer. Theranos sent a forged report to Walgreens and potential investors showing that the pharmaceutical giant Pfizer had endorsed and validated the company's blood testing technology. However, Pfizer ended its collaboration with the company a year before this report was made, and their actual findings suggested the company's tech to be unreliable. These documents misled investors as they both took the report at its face value and invested millions of dollars into the company. Both Holmes and Balwani are pleading not guilty. The trial included testimonies of various investors, board members, patients, and employees. The court has not reached its decision yet, but Elizabeth Holmes is facing up to 20 years in prison. Sunny Balwani's trial will take place in January 2022.
The story of this company serves a warning to the upcoming startups to realize the significance of ethical business practices. What does it truly mean to be a responsible business? Is it to abide by the law, or does it mean more? In the words of Henry Ford, a business that makes nothing but money is a poor business. A responsible business isn't just about donating. It's about employing sustainable measures that have a positive long-term impact on the society as a whole. An ethically responsible business may increase trust and enhance connections with all stakeholders, including customers, employees, investors, and communities, resulting in better long-term value.